During Red Lobster's Dozens of Shrimp, pair 2 dozen shrimp for just $9.99. Choose from classic favorites and fresh new tastes like our new citrus shrimp in a bag. Share the shrimp you love with the people you love. 2 dozen shrimp now at Red Lobster.
Share the love!
Delicious, hot, and fresh. Orville Redenbacher's Gourmet Popping Corn is the perfect after-school snack for kids of any age. Anytime's a great time for Orville.
Don't miss the new show the critics call a breath of fresh air.
Questions left on the Schwarzenegger for Governor hotline. Now your local news.
I'm saying that was not kept there as a hostage against her will.
More compelling testimony at a Louisville rape trial as the on trial for the crime tells the jury why he should be found not guilty. But first,
what could I have done different? Should I have been more worried? Because I'm not a worrier.
A flood of emotions for the parents of a Louisville guardsman as they reflect on how he lived and died in service to his country.
This is WLKY News Channel 32 Louisville. Now, from the station where the news comes first, your live local late-breaking coverage for Greater Louisville starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Rick Van Hoos.
And I'm Vicki George. Still many questions surround Kentucky's first casualty in Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Sergeant Darren Potter is the first Kentucky National Guardsman killed in action since the Vietnam War. Tonight, you saw it here first, an exclusive interview with Potter's parents. News Channel 32's John Charlton is live at the Butyl Armory with more on that interview and tonight's big story. John?
Well, Rick, Sergeant Potter and his fellow Kentucky National Guardsmen were deployed from here back in February, but it was during the big push into Iraq that his parents were most concerned about his well-being, not while all the major fighting had stopped.
What could I have done different? Should I have been more worried? Because I'm not a worrier, and I was confident that he was coming back.
Lynn Romans was like many other Army mothers with sons and daughters in Iraq. Since May 1st, the official end of major combat, Romans expected to welcome home her son as part of one of those special military ceremonies we become so accustomed to seeing. But Sergeant Darren Potter's ceremony will be the kind every parent dreads after sending their child off to war.
I was actually at work, and they contacted me, one of my supervisors, and escorted me down to tell me that to meet with the officers.
What the Army would tell her and Darren's father is that their 24-year-old son died Monday when his Humvee flipped into a canal west of Baghdad. Speaking to us over the phone from Iraq, his captain says Darren was out on patrol, responding to an attack.
We had to pull security around the scene because it was outside of the walls of the facility, so the enemy was out there, and as a matter of fact, that's what the patrols were responding to, was enemy contact, an enemy mortar fire that they had fired into the facility.
Did I make a mistake allowing him to join the Guard at 17 years of age?
David Potter says even though it happens in war, he can't help but wonder what he could have done to prevent his son's death. Now he and Darren's mom must accept these photographs as their most recent visual memory of their son.
He sent back a bunch of pictures, and as we developed the pictures and started through them, one of the pictures had him holding a little Iraqi girl. And, I just looked at it and I said, that's my son.
Darren's Army superiors recognized that spirit, saying it was contagious and his sense of duty exemplary.
Anytime that I went out on a patrol, I asked Sergeant Potter if I could go with him and his team, and he was a good soldier, he was a good person.
Everyone that I speak to says that he is an outstanding young man. They just don't come any better than Darren.
And adding some more sad irony to Darren's death, he and his father actually spoke over the phone that morning. Meanwhile, the military says circumstances leading up to Darren's death are still being investigated. Reporting live at the Butyl Armory, I'm John Charlton, WLKY News Channel 32.
Okay, John, Sergeant Darren Potter had been in the National Guard about 5 years. His unit had been serving in the Persian Gulf region since February. We're told there will be 2 memorial services for Sergeant Potter tomorrow morning, one in northern Iraq, the other in southern Iraq. Some of the coldest temperatures of the fall season are moving in right now.
Oh, brace yourself, and that means some of us could see some frost by morning. Here's Chief Meteorologist Jay Cardosi to tell us what to expect. What do you say, Jay?
All right, Rick, Vicki, thanks so much. Yeah, hey, it's that time of the year. The cold stuff is arriving from time to time. We're getting a pretty good batch of cold air moving towards us right now. Temperatures around the area, middle and upper 40s, but they will be dropping as the night wears on. And as a result, we have several advisories to pass along, two in particular, a freeze advisory and a frost advisory. The freeze advisory northeast of Louisville for places like Switzerland County, Carroll, Gallatin, and Owen counties in Kentucky, including the town of Owenton. That means temperatures will drop to near 32 degrees, if not a little bit lower, by daybreak. And a frost advisory has been posted for the far north and northwestern counties, including Jennings, Jackson, and Lawrence counties. Some of the towns included in that, North Vernon, Seymour, and also the Bedford area. Temperatures up there in the low to middle 30s by daybreak. Even some patchy frost likely in the metro area by early tomorrow morning, and we're not done with the frosty weather after tonight. More on that coming up in just a few minutes. Rick, back to you.
Oh boy, Jay. Well, this white flag flying at the Wayside Christian Mission in Louisville is also a sign that cold weather is moving in. All Louisville area homeless shelters put out the white flag when the temperatures are expected to drop below 35 degrees.
We put the flag out so folks know they can come in the shelter. Even if our beds are full, we'll make space for them. The point is that we don't want anyone to stay outside in temperatures that are dangerous and that they might freeze.
The Salvation Army also planned to put out a white flag tonight. The white flag program is also used in the summertime to warn of dangerously hot weather.
A Louisville rape suspect takes the stand in his own defense today. The victim, who was 17 at the time, claims Sam McCullum repeatedly raped and sodomized her while she was chained to a pole in a car body shop. But McCullum says it was all consensual sex, admitting he did duct tape her when she was threatening to call police and accuse him of rape.
I'm saying that was not kept there as a hostage against her will until the one time.
Indicted for a murder 4 months ago. Kevin Sims, who is also known as Kevin Franklin, is charged in the shooting death of 29-year-old Charles Miller. Metro police say that Miller was shot in the head. Now, the crime took place in the 2700 block of Magazine Street on June 7th. Sims was arrested later that month. A lunchtime bank robber is still on the loose in Louisville. This National City branch on South 4th Street was hit around 12:30. Investigators say the suspect walked in and told clerks that he had a weapon. He escaped on foot with an undisclosed amount of money. Now, as we said, police are still looking for the suspect. He's a black male, about 5'8", about 150 pounds. He's 30 to 35 years of age with short hair and facial hair. The suspect was last seen wearing blue jeans and a blue jean jacket. If you have any information, you're asked to call police.
It's a story you saw first on News Channel 32. Police say 2 men involved in a fatal standoff with a SWAT team have been terrorizing people in Jefferson County for weeks. Last week, Stephen Webb and Jody Bridgers holed up inside a house on Burnett after police say they stole a car in southern Indiana. Webb surrendered, but Bridgers killed himself before police entered the home. Detectives say Webb has admitted he and Bridgers burglarized about 30 homes in Jefferson County in the weeks leading up to the standoff. Investigators say Bridgers had recently stolen a man's car and slit his throat.
Victim ID'd the deceased, Jody Bridgers, is the person that robbed him and assaulted him tonight on Collins Court.
Police say Bridgers and Webb have also been connected to crimes in southern Indiana and in Henry and Shelby counties in Kentucky. The search is on for a man accused of molesting a 3-year-old Radcliffe girl. According to Radcliffe police, 40-year-old Richard Edwards committed a similar crime in West Virginia 13 years ago with a 7-year-old child. Investigators say Edwards was living with the 3-year-old's grandmother and was babysitting her at the time he's accused of sodomizing her.
You just need to know the people that you have around you and have around your family, and especially the ones that you have around your kids.
Detectives believe Edwards fled the Ariana Greyhound bus from Elizabethtown heading to West Virginia. Authorities in West Virginia intercepted the bus there, but Edwards wasn't on it.
A judge turns down a request to drop sexual abuse charges against a former Louisville Catholic priest. Charles Deering faces charges dating back more than 30 years. Deering's attorney wanted the charges dropped because the person making the claims of sexual abuse could not name a specific time or place. Deering will be back in court next month. A woman accused of misleading an Indiana couple into believing that she was their missing daughter will not be returned to Kansas. Yesterday, a judge in Kansas ruled that Donna Walker's extradition to Indiana was improper because she had not exhausted all her appeals there. But Boone County, Indiana prosecutor Todd Meyer said today Walker is going nowhere. Walker's attorney said that he'll ask the governor of Kansas to intervene. He even threatened to seek criminal charges against Meyer and other Indiana officials. Walker is accused of carrying out a hoax on the family of Shandon Marie Sherrill, who was 6 when she disappeared in 1986 from outside her mother's home in Thorntown, Indiana.
One man is dead, 2 are in the hospital after an early morning wreck on southwest Louisville's Greenbelt Highway. 43-year-old Douglas Doherty from western Kentucky was sitting in the front passenger seat this morning when he was killed in the crash. Police say the driver of the Jeep apparently lost control and struck a utility pole, then flipped several times. Officers now believe they've pinpointed one of the things that caused the accident.
Officers are looking into whether or not alcohol played a factor. They do certainly believe that speed may have been a factor in this accident.
Police say none of the 5 people in the Jeep was wearing seat belts. Get ready for more road construction in southern Indiana. You know the drill. As part of the Revive 65 project, the next area you'll want to avoid is the intersection of US 31 and Charlestown New Albany Pike. It will be closed for 28 days starting October 13th. This is the latest closure involving this 4-year project. Many were hoping it would be finished by the end of this year.
Our ultimate goal is still to have us in final traffic pattern through most of the project from 265 south through the O&I Railroad Bridge by the end of 2003.
And that's the good news. The downside, construction won't be complete until next summer.
3 letters that Lewis and Clark wrote during and after their historic expedition west are now on display in Cincinnati. The letters had been in the Cincinnati Historical Society's archive since 1885, and they were recently authenticated by a Louisville historian. Louisville is just one of the cities celebrating the 200th anniversary of the Lewis and Clark expedition. The two started their historic journey here at the Falls of the Ohio.
He tried to get younger women, and so, you know, I thought he would do something probably like that, maybe.
A 15-year-old girl is missing, and so is your softball coach. Straight ahead on News Channel 32 at 11. Hear what police think happened to them.
And we'll have the latest on this deadly accident on a crowded interstate highway in Chicago.
Plus, new information on that 2-year-old girl who survived alone in an apartment for nearly 3 weeks. Find out who has custody of her now.
You're watching WLKY News Channel 32 at 11. With Vicki Dorch, Rick Van Hoos, Fred Cowgill with sports, Super Doppler 32 Weather Watch with Jay Cardosi, and the home of News Chopper 32.
The rural ideals and country values Kentucky Farm Bureau was founded on, like commitment and integrity, have made us Kentucky's largest property and casualty insurer, providing superior service in large cities and suburbs, as well as back where we came from. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
Mike's been talking about sending his boys to his alma mater since they were born. When he started getting ready for it financially, he talked to me.
We live where you live. Now the same State Farm agent who helped you plan for just in case can help you with what could be with education savings plans and other funding options. For help with banking, insurance, and investing, talk to your agent today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Introducing 2 new exciting roast beef sandwiches from Arby's. The new French Dip and Swiss and the new Philly Beef Supreme. What are you eating today?
The new Hummer H2. It has all the luxury, but more horsepower, more ground clearance, and more off-road capability than these other luxury four-wheel drive SUVs. But since the Hummer H2's base price is under $50,000, it's priced less than these other luxury SUVs. So, more or less, with a Hummer H2, you get more for less. Hummer, like nothing else.
Bachman Hummer, Louisville, Kentucky.
At least 8 people are dead in a multi-vehicle collision on the interstate 50 miles west of Chicago. Police say a tour minibus, at least 2 tractor trailers, and a pickup truck were involved in the afternoon crash on Interstate 90. It's not yet known what caused this wreck, which closed the interstate in both directions. 4 people hurt or in serious condition. A 5th is in critical condition.
I'm just happy I have her.
happy she's all right.
An update now on a story we first told you about last night at 11. The 2-year-old Florida girl left alone for almost 3 weeks is now with her father. Police say the child was abandoned in a Jacksonville apartment by her mother, who was in jail on assault and theft charges and didn't tell anyone the little girl was home alone. The toddler survived by eating ketchup, mustard, and raw pasta. The girl's mother, meanwhile, was in court today to face charges of child abuse.
That's not all. Also in Florida, a 40-year-old mother is charged with multiple counts of child neglect after her 4 children were found living in a house with human and animal feces piled on the floors. The children were also found sleeping with filthy dogs, according to the sheriff's deputies. Now, the children, a 2-year-old girl and 3 boys, ages 4, 10, and 13, are now in protective custody.
Police in Oregon are looking for a 15-year-old girl and the softball coach they believe she ran away with. This is a picture of Mimi Smith and her coach, 38-year-old Andrew Garver. Investigators say Garver recently liquidated some assets and withdrew money from a bank account he shared with his estranged wife. Police say this is not a kidnapping case. They believe the girl left willingly. NBA star Kobe Bryant hits the court tomorrow.
Not in Colorado, where he faces sexual assault charges, but in front of cheering fans. As Chris Lawrence reports, Kobe's in Hawaii, where the Los Angeles Lakers will soon play their first preseason game.
When Kobe Bryant arrives in Hawaii Thursday, he'll be greeted like any other guest, with a warm breeze and bright sun, blue water, and crowded beaches. Bryant will also find fans more forgiving than most.
They just have a lot of aloha and a lot of love.
Andrew Gaskin says a lot of his friends are getting tickets for the Lakers scrimmages next week, and Bryant is the big draw.
They're more interested, I think, about him as a player than what's going on with his personal life.
A personal life that's gone public. Bryant has been charged with sexually assaulting a 19-year-old Colorado woman. His preliminary hearing is just 1 week away. But here in Honolulu, the focus is still on basketball. Despite the fact the Lakers' arrival is front-page news, this is still Hawaii. And a lot of folks just don't pay much attention to news from the mainland.
I couldn't even tell you that it was basketball time. That's what they are, basketball, right?
But dozens of reporters and photographers are fully aware of what's happening. So Coach Phil Jackson has been giving the younger players tips on how to box out the media.
How to dodge questions that you guys present, how to play down issues that could make for headlines.
The Lakers came here to focus solely on basketball.
Accuser's medical records because she spent time at a hospital earlier this year. Now, the judge in the case is expected to rule on that tomorrow, as well as whether Bryant's accuser will have to testify at next week's preliminary hearing.
Now, your Super Doppler 32 Weather Watch with Chief Meteorologist Jay Cardosi.
Hi, folks. Hope you had a nice day. Another beautiful day around the area. Lots of sunshine, a couple of those puffy cumulus clouds into the late afternoon, early evening. But look at that sunset right there, sun going down about 7:30 or so, and it really turned out to be a nice day. But it's getting cool out there right now as we zoom in on the high-res satellite photography. Right now in Louisville, temperatures down to 48 degrees, and it's dropping like a rock, and we're expecting middle 30s by daybreak. Now, earlier today with all that sun, not too shabby. 60 here, the official high, 63s in St. Louis, Paducah, and much cooler off to the northeast with just low and middle 50s, especially as you get towards New England. Let's put the weather in motion. You can see how it's been mainly clear throughout the evening. Pretty thick clouds, though, off to the northeast. Even a few light rain and snow showers in portions of Michigan, and some rain showers heading towards the Cleveland area. But all that messy weather is going to stay out of here. One thing that will not stay out of here, that cold front. It's going to slam through here tonight. In doing so, winds will pick up a little bit from the north. But more importantly, look at the air behind it. 34 in the Quad Cities. It's 38 right now in Chicagoland. That air is going to be down here over us by daybreak tomorrow. Bottom line, a little bit of patchy frost is likely. Look at all the clear skies occurring, though, just off to the northwest in the plains on into the western lakes. That weather right there is sliding in our direction, so it's going to stay very pretty, very clear tonight through tomorrow, even into tomorrow night, that is, as high pressure builds in. So the bottom line, no big storms on the horizon. That's the good news. Today's numbers, low 60s after morning starts in the low 40s. Right now, it's 48 degrees out there and getting pretty cool. Humidity, 77%. Winds are calm. They'll pick up a little bit from the north later on tonight, and that's when that colder air will start to rush in. How cold? Again, by daybreak tomorrow, low and middle 30s from top to bottom around the viewing area. And well, as you know, with temperatures that chilly, certainly some scattered frost is likely, not only tonight into early tomorrow morning, but another chance tomorrow night into Friday morning. Tomorrow will be a pretty day, no question about it. Just kind of chilly for the kids at the bus stop in the morning. High pressure moves right overhead in the afternoon. Light winds, lots of sun, but a cool day and well below average. Temperatures low and middle 50s for tomorrow afternoon, both in southern Indiana as well as Kentucky. All right, here's the forecast. Pretty chilly overnight tonight. Clear, cold, some patchy frost developing very late into the morning hours. Low temperatures around 36 on your pinpoint forecast. Bright sunshine from start to finish, and after that little frosty start in the early morning, not too bad in the afternoon. Yeah, it's cool for this time of the year, but the winds will be light. That's the good news. That strong early October sunshine will still make it feel pretty nice out there. 55 the high, 10 better on Friday at 65, and then a decent chance for some rain moving in late Friday into Friday night. It should be out of here, though, in time for most of the festivities for the St. James Art Fair. Just cooler, certainly, again, by Sunday. But again, Saturday and Sunday, it looks like it will be dry.
Cool weather has never stopped a woman from shopping.
Absolutely
They'll
not.
be out there
and
this
it won't
weekend.
this year either.
Go get them.
Around your world tonight, 2 British women have lost a court battle to have babies using frozen embryos that her former partners want destroyed. A high court judge ruled the women cannot complete the in vitro fertilization treatment they started with their ex-partners. The men in both cases withdrew their consent for the frozen embryos to be used after the couple separated.
It was their first reunion since their arrest in the Washington, D.C. sniper shootings last year. Teenage sniper suspect Lee Malvo testified at a pretrial hearing for John Muhammad. Malvo took the fifth when he was asked about his relationship with Muhammad.
Tens of thousands watched as Hong Kong's Victoria Harbor is lit up by a spectacular fireworks display. Just less than 20,000 shells were fired from 2 large barges. By comparison, thunder over Louisville had more than 50,000 shells. The event was part of the celebration for the 54th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China.
Cold here, but hot on the baseball field. Keith Farmer has the latest on the Major League playoffs just ahead.
Plus, IU football prepares to take on former U of L coach John L. Smith and his new team. Sports is next.
Jay Cardosi's forecast is certified by the American Meteorological Society.
The news is sponsored in part by H.H. Gregg.
Enjoy that new refrigerator, guys.
Give the hat back, Joey.
They gave it to me, George. Hey, that's our 3rd emergency delivery this week.
That's why H.H. Gregg offers same-day delivery, Joey.
Same day, next day, any day.
And we've got over 400 models of appliances in stock, more than anybody.
H.H. Gregg, over 400 models of appliances in stock, ready for delivery 7 days a week.
Here. What?
Diabetes is a serious, often deadly disease that affects men, women, and children of all ages. I'm Rick Van Hoos. Join me in America's Walk for Diabetes. Sign up today by phone, fax, or internet to the American Diabetes Association. Walk with us and take steps to find a cure. Together, we can strike out diabetes.
News Channel 32's The Blitz is your ticket for the most in-depth, hard-hitting high school sports action around. The Blitz has your latest scores. The Blitz has your local highlights. The Blitz has your game of the week, athlete of the week, and top 10 polls, all wrapped into one power-packed show. Join Fred Cowgill and News Channel 32 Sports for The Blitz. Friday nights at 11:20 only on WLKY News Channel 32.
The Blitz is brought to you in part by IBEW, Collins Nissan, and KFC.
Last weekend, audiences and critics fell in love under the Tuscan sun. 2 thumbs up. Diane Lane is Oscar-worthy. This is the most beautiful film of the year.
Good things can happen. It's such a surprise.
Under the Tuscan sun. Rated PG-13.
For so long, this was my lot, barely able to afford their health care. We can heal health care in Kentucky, but first, we must have real change in Frankfort.
Ideas and inspirations. What you want, what you need at Roads Today.
Thursday morning on WLKY News Channel 32.
Ozzy Osbourne has been performing heavy metal for years.
He's also opened his home to us through his reality television series. We will tell you how he has set his sights on Broadway.
And the cold weather continues. In addition to bundling up, will you be scraping your windshields tomorrow morning? I'll have forecast and weather on the 10th.
And while we're still waiting for Halloween, some people already have Christmas shopping on their mind.
A look at what you might find in the Neiman Marcus catalog tomorrow morning on WLKY News Channel 32.
I love this time of year when it's cold. Have the oven going and the smell of an apple pie. We have a large family. No matter what activity we get together for, there's always food present. The kitchen is the most important room in our home. I don't know what I would do without Walmart Supercenter. It makes everything easier. It's great to only have that one stop. All our fruits, vegetables, meats, it's always fresh. Quality is great. I get everything that I need at Walmart. And I love the low prices. Walmart Supercenter is great for our family.
Live with Keith Farmer, this is WLKY News Channel 32 Sports.
Good evening. When John L. Smith was the head coach at U of L, his Cardinals never played next-door neighbor Indiana. Now that he's at Michigan State, John L. will get...
Yeah, all right, thanks, Keith.
We'll have more after this.
The news is sponsored in part by Kroger.
We feel like we need to go out and outwork the people that we play. During the week, studying, doing our football homework, giving our best effort. Everybody likes to win, and the thing that you get most out of winning is the satisfaction of seeing all the hard work and sweat and dedication come together and give you that victory.
How will you cover your bald spots? The toupee? The paint job? The cover-up? There is an easier and better way. Introducing new Water Saver with RTF, the only fescue seed that repairs itself, quickly filling in bare spots. The result? A lawn like this. From filling bald spots to seeding a new lawn, Water Saver with RTF is the only seed you'll ever need.
Their patience goes to show you some things are worth the wait. Sort of like curing real country ham. If you're gonna do it right, you better be a very patient man. From our family to yours, thank you for making Clifty Farm part of your family tradition.
An artist in South Carolina has a couple of new furry family members. Guy Stevens of Greenville took these two baby squirrels, and after the mother was killed, the squirrels named Alley Oop and Bambi now spend their time hanging out with Stevens in his downtown art studio.
Oh, that's sweet. Vicki is asking you about her ferns. Should she bring them in tonight?
Well, yeah, especially if they're on maybe like a sheltered part of the house or something where there's not going to be a lot of wind. It's going to get pretty chilly some frost lightning spots. Bring them in.
Got work to do tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Letterman's next.
The news is sponsored in part by Kroger.
Kroger shoppers age 60 and over, get ready to save even more with Kroger Plus. This Wednesday is Kroger Plus Senior Discount Day, when you'll save an extra 10% on groceries with your Kroger Plus card. If you haven't signed up, do it today for future savings at Kroger. Don't miss Kroger Plus Senior Discount Days.
Wouldn't leave home without it.
Here are more ways everyone can save this week with Kroger Plus.
Hey Jay, what do you say? What do you say about Jay?
Jay Cardosi is definitely passionate about what he does. Seemed like the other guys were concerned about their immediate viewership, but once the storm got outside of Louisville, Jay Cardosi stayed with it, and he still seemed just as concerned as when the storm was in Louisville as when it was in Shelby County. I know that I can turn to Jay Cardosi whenever I need help. Hi, I'm Kurt from Shelbyville.